In October of last year, God started talking to me about being a homemaker. And the more I learned about it, the more I felt like this is what I was created for. But I felt like I should have been striving for something more. I kind of felt disappointed because I worked so hard and I'm so passionate about my brand. But then God brought me back to the Proverbs 31 woman and reminded me that I could be both. Now, I started a YouTube channel in 2016 only to post a promo video for my brand, but that was it. I aspired to do like hair tutorials and post commercials on there, but my business had exceeded my expectations like when I first started it. And when I took a break so that I can get organized, my mental health crashed because I was highly functioning under depression when I was running it. So as I'm getting excited about being a homemaker in fall of 2022, God had me write down a list of things I plan to do that so that I wasn't idle, right? So that, as a homemaker, like transitioning into something new, I wasn't going to be idle. Like I had created a list of who I wanted to be, what I wanted to be doing, right? And one of the things on the list was YouTube channel, and I put a question mark next to it. Fast forward to fall of 2023. Every time I go through my notes to write out like my podcast episodes or a grocery list, my eyes will catch my homemaker list and that YouTube channel part would just keep sticking out. And so I would just nod my head like, later. Once I get settled, I'll start the YouTube channel. And God was like, let's start now. So then I'm like, Houseway, you and I both know it's not the time for that. And God started showing me all that I had. So I started executing. I sent text messages out to my family and my friends, and they subscribed, but they already listen on on the podcast app. So I'm like, who is gonna even see this? Like, I have subscribers, but who's even gonna watch this? Who's gonna listen to the podcast on the podcast app and then go listen to it on YouTube, right? And like, God, I'm not gonna get any views. Like, this is lame, right? And so God still led me to like go post, like get up, go ahead and go and post. And after posting, I'm like, God, this not making no sense. You got me out here looking like a fool, a fool by myself. And late in the midnight hour, it was like in the middle of the night, God was like, Jessica, I was just trying to reach one person, and you got him, and I used you to get him. If you only got one view, the one view was the one. Like I needed to reach one person, and you got that one person for me. And so I'm sitting there like having praise and worship, and you know, just crying out like, wow, like I'm thinking about the things of the world, and I'm like, this is so lame. Why would he have me start a YouTube channel? I ain't getting no views. And he's like, it wasn't about the multitude, it was about me getting one. Because in God's eyes, the one is never just one. The one is always a multitude. But in human eyes, from a human perspective, one is one, right? One mean one. And so, um, I was shook, and I thank God, and I told him, like, thank you for being patient with me, because sometimes I be asking way too many questions before I do what God, what he be asking me to do. I be asking 1,000 questions and throwing little tantrums sometime, right? And after a week of doing this YouTube thing, right? It's about to be almost a week. God brought me to Luke chapter 5. In Luke chapter 5, Jesus is preaching at the shore of the Sea of Galilee, and crowds are coming in to try to listen to him teach the word of God. Jesus noticed that there are two empty boats at the edge, right? At the seashore. And the fishermen had left their boats and they were now washing their nets. So Jesus gets into one of the boat that belongs to Simon, which is also Peter, And he tells Peter to push the boat out into the water. And so after Jesus teaches the crowds and shares the word of God, he goes to Simon and he says, "Now go out where it is deeper and let down your nets to catch some fish." So he tells Peter to get in his own boat and go out into the deep, right? And Peter's like, "Wait a minute now, we didn't work all night, all last night. We worked to catch fish. I'm a fisherman, Jesus. I know what I'm doing. I've been fishing for years. I know how to fish. All last night we was working hard trying to catch fish and we caught nothing. But you know what? I'm gonna just do what you told me to do. I'm gonna go into the deep and I'm gonna let my nets down again." And this time when Peter went out into the deep, he caught way more than he could handle. He had to call for the other boat so that, because the nets were tearing and both boats were filled with fish. So Peter let Jesus borrow something of his that he wasn't using. And after God did used it for what he needed to use it for, he gave it back to who it belongs to and showed them how to get what they need using it, right? So what is it that you can let God borrow? What do you have that you ain't even using, that you didn't gave up on, that you just been like, that thing is not working. I'm doing something else. It's a new season. What is it that you have that you can let God use? You can say, "Hey God, this is free, my cooking business, my singing, my voice, my vocals, my daycare, my clothing line. God, I'm gonna give it to you. Whatever it is, right? That you're not even that you're no longer using. That refurbishing business, whatever it is, it could be a whole lot of things that you are not using that you can let God use, and so that he can be glorified in it. And then when he give it back to you, it works in a way that you could, like, it comes when he gives it back to you, it comes with wisdom. So now you know how to work that thing that you've been so passionate about and so excited about, but you just gave up on because you thought, hey, this was something, like, God gave me this gift. I had this desire, but when I tried it, it didn't work. And it just, or not that it didn't work. It's been so much other stuff going on in your life that you've been stressing or busy and frustrated. And God is like, "Hey, you got that thing just sitting to the side, ain't using it. Can I use it? Can I borrow it? Can I get in it? Can I be glorified in that? So I can catch what I can catch from it?" You can be a stylist. You could have loved fashion and styling all your life, but never really pursued being a stylist because you didn't know how to, get in the industry and whatever it is that may be. And God, like, let me use that right quick. Let me use your styling. I got somebody I want you to style. They're a non-believer, but they're going to become a believer because of you. You're going to style them. They become a believer because of your character, how you show up, what you look like, your conversation. They start saying, "Hey, who do you know? What do you do with your day? How do you start your day? What do you believe in?" Let God use something. Let God borrow what you're not using so that he can be glorified in it. And even if you get that one view, that one like, okay, that one share, if you let God use it, he may have only just needed the one. Don't get frustrated. Worship. Get excited. All we needed was the one. All we needed was the one, God. Thank you. And then that's where God come back like, here's the wisdom so that I can show you how to take that thing that you had set aside and you ain't really been using it. Now let's elevate it. Now let me show you how to use that. Because I can still be glorified through that. All right? It's the beginning of the year. What a time. What a time to let God use something. You ain't used that thing in years. Okay? What a time. Let's get it. I love you all in real life.